2 or 3 feet. So let us calm down and then. So we were talking last session or last week about new home and old home. Old home is the false self. Current home is the false self. New home is the real self. And now in that false old home, the mind can go anywhere and can find the value millions of ways. You wake up in the morning, I have a problem in the body. It's because I'm the body. I have a problem with my colleague, with my employee, with someone. So this is how the mind is wandering. So we don't go to the root cause of wandering, but we start, oh, let me control my mind. So if the past impressions are there, I have set a value system that, I like to enjoy being lazy. I like to enjoy the food that causes the problem. Uh, I like to show my ego to my honey. So, like this, we have millions of value system created by this old home, and this is not leaving us. We always look at the symptoms, we don't look at the root. She is not listening to me, so my focus is on outside. Mind, what did you say? She is not listening to you. Why she should listen to you? Why? So when I start questioning, I'm trying to destroy the old home. If I focus, my focus remains outside. So she is not listening to me. Okay, you explain to me. So now from one impression, you go to the second impression. These are the events, third event, fourth event. You are multiplying. How it is possible to be in peace and calmness? First, I have to check my own mind. Mind, why you are reacting? Why you are into anxiety? You are receiving the anxiety from the world outside. You think so. So you have created many holes into the old home, and they enter from there, and then we are suffering. Otherwise, there is no reason to have anxiety, fear, frustration at all. So that is the meaning of moving to the new home. So in the old home means ego is there, delusion is there, attachment is there, ignorance is there, obsession is there. I have to understand each and every movement of the mind that is sticking to the old home before I before I release all of them and build a new home. Another problem at a subtler level is the limiting belief. We have limiting belief, we have fears, we have past conditioning. We have to understand each one. Why there is a limiting belief, fear, frustration, and conditioning? Because I give value to them. What will happen if my honey leaves me? Nothing is happening. Nothing will happen. I can tell you. One employee leaves, let him leave. So we created hundreds of millions of limiting belief, and the mind does not want to leave it. So when the mind does not want to leave it, we need a self-discipline. We need to take over the mind. The mind has become the worst master. But The mind has to be treated with knowledge first, then practice. If the mind is not treated with the knowledge first, and you are only doing the practice, then you are doing the practice for the last 10 years, there is no result. So our master says, no, understand. Did you have anxiety at the time of the birth? No. Did you have reaction and fears that you have now at the time of the birth? No. You had certain fears. They are impulsive fears. Impulsiveness. Finished. So it means how much work I have to do. So this master says 40 steps. You can take over all these things with 40 steps. Another area of the problem and the challenge is that we have had millions of the impressions accumulated. I reacted out of that, but they are sleeping in my head. They are sleeping in my mind. They are sleeping and they can trigger the six enemies. I have discussed many a time six enemies: attachment, detachment, desire, hesitation, greed, delusion, pride, and the jealousy. Instant jealousy comes. We don't know from where it has come. It has come from that garbage. You don't plan to be jealous. We don't plan to be jealous, but we experience the jealousy. Oh, he has this, I don't have this. It blocks the mind. 40 steps will help us to get rid of this. We'll start with each and every step in a different way. So, another problem that because mind is living in ignorance, and because of it is living in ignorance, it keeps all the windows open. What happened to the Trump? What happened to the Biden? They will take care of themselves. No, but I'm not concerned about them. No. Every day when I look into the Google or read the newspaper, something attracts me. I lose awareness. Yesterday I was asking my mind that why you are so much attracted to the AI applications. So yesterday also I spent 2 hours in understanding this AI mechanism because I wanted to explain the journey of the Eastern wisdom. So it did not create any challenges to me. So we have to learn how to deal in my personal, professional, and social life. Then we have challenges in the professional level, maybe because of the ego, because of the anxiety, because of the desires, because of the insecurities. Lot of challenges. So that is why the master says you have to understand how this false home is built. What is the foundation, what is the root, what is the cause, what is the effect, and that is what we say total in one word: ignorance. We say ignorance, we say impurities, we say distract. Why the mind is wandering? My value system is not there on a particular thought. Why the mind will bring those thoughts? You have a certain group of thoughts, and I have a certain group of thoughts in my mind. It is not the same thoughts. So those thoughts have its origin in my past impression or the vasana. The vasana are in the form of a seed that I don't notice. No, my mind is blank, I don't know why I got upset with you. No, it is happening because of the vasana. I don't know, but it is happening because of the vasana. So I have to go deeper. I have to understand it. I can't live a life of chaos and stress and conflict. I have to replace it with the peace, harmony, calmness, humility. I have to evolve. That is the journey of Eastern wisdom. Then I have also in the old home, okay, my refrigerator is not working, okay, okay, I will see it tomorrow. The drainage is not clogging the impurities, window is not there. Oh, so I have a very loose hearted approach. Today I have an anxiety, let me take a strong coffee and get. No, it's a loose approach. I cannot become a seeker. I have to look back there, in my work, in my relationship. If I don't look back, so that is why the master says in the very first step of 40 steps is study Eastern wisdom to study yourself. So the more I study Eastern wisdom, I study myself. My study myself means the current home. So not only studying the work and studying the relationship and also then I will also ask myself, what about my peace and calmness? I ate this thing so I am happy. Mind says repeat it. You are repeating, you created a value system, now you have a craving for a certain food. It seems so simple, but it creates millions of impression in the vasanas in the seed form, and they constantly haunt me in my daily life. And then we start thinking that how to control. As a teacher, no, as a seeker, not you, but in general, the people ask me how to control all those thoughts. So have if I have those past impressions against people and relationship and other matter, so those thoughts will definitely pop up in my mind. I have to get rid of the root. I have to change my perception. It is so simple, yet it is so difficult. What is so simple, you see intellectually. It is so simple. My honey is causing all the problems. Intellectual understanding that nothing outside can cause me any problem because I have those impressions of expectations. That is why it is causing the problem. Intellectually, I have understood, but the mind doesn't listen. I have understood. Now I'm meeting my honey, I have a reaction. I have a reaction inside my head. See that? It is so easy to understand, and yet it is very challenging to change. Buddha says mind is everything. Mind is pain, mind is pleasure, mind is honey. Honey? Yes. Look at your honey. Show me where is the honey. It is a man or woman only. Mind is honey. Mind is problem. Mind is fear. Mind is frustration. Mind is ignorance. Mind is impurity. Mind is peace. Why come the peace? Minus honey, mind is peace. Minus impurities, mind is calm. Mind is everything. Mind is everything. So I have to filter out why the mind has become everything. what I have to filter out. The mind claims the world is suffering. I have to make the mind realize the world is an opportunity to evolve. What that means? Now the honey, yes. Previously in the past, the honey created a reaction. Now you have a big smile. She doesn't listen to you. It is an opportunity for you to evolve. How you evolve? You build your endurance. In that situation also, you are in the state of the calmness. From where that calmness comes? First the understanding, then the intellect gives a push to the mind. Hold on, be aware, be aware. No problem is coming from outside. And that awareness grows. You start changing your perception. Your perception has changed. The honey is still the same. Perception has changed. That is the beauty of study Eastern wisdom, to study yourself. Mind is everything. Buddha says, even the Gita also says the same thing. Buddha says the mind is everything. What you think, you become. You have heard the proverb many a times. Mind is everything. What you think, you become. So I'm always constantly bragging, thinking, obsessed, craving for the old home. I become the old home. I have the ignorance. I'm living in duality and a conflict. Every day I have to sit back and contemplate and reflect. When you were there also, I bought this Kindle Scribe. So when I sit before going to sleep, I said, how many thoughts of anxiety reaction do? Oh, there is no thought. Why there is no thought? Because I have a perception the world is totally different and separate from me. How many challenges I have? Oh, the challenges. It means those challenges are because of the limiting belief. So from why I have a limiting belief in this respect, and then I write it down every day. Every day is why I have to write it down, because it should create an impression and it should leave me totally in freedom. That is the meaning of studying Eastern wisdom, to study yourself. Whether you take an example of old home to new home, or whether you take an example of the Buddha, that the mind is everything, what you think, you become. I think of certain thing because of the value system given by the mind. And that value comes from my past impression in the vasana. And those vasanas are in the seed form. That is why I give value. Look at it. So if I drop all the value system, is it so easy? No. That is why we have 40 steps to the journey of awakening and realization. So we should ask the question, how daily life means what? Daily life means situation, events, relationship, people, craving, anxiety, fear, or any other experiences. I have to observe, I have to be aware during the day. So you are doing the practice almost as long as you are in a waking state. Oh, I get upset, why get upset? Is there any reason? Upset, anxiety, fear, obsession, craving, duality, conflict, only because of the thought. That is what the Buddha says, what I think, I become. First is the thought, and thought is equal to, do you remember? Thought is equal to object. Object is outside. Knowledge of an object. Object is pasta. Knowledge of an object, that I am craving for pasta. Only the pasta will meet my hunger. Plus, who creates this? Plus I, thought, and plus consciousness. Simple way, very simple, but simple but very hard to implement it because I forget. I forget because of I thought. I forget because of the knowledge of the object. I don't have a right perception of the object. And I don't have a right intention. My value is that it gives me pleasure. So if the mind changes the value, it should be right. What is the right value? Food is to just survive. Food is not to please. Food is not to crave. But again, go back, craving. From where the craving, I never craved before I developed an obsession for the pasta. There, so previously the mind did not crave. Now the mind is craving. It means mind will crave for something else in the future also. It is constantly changing. Let me take care of the mind instead of taking care of the pasta. That is why the master says we forget this, and the Eastern wisdom says that is why we should have a master and a seeker tradition. The master reminds us again and again and again. Why? Why the master says you have to repeat listening and contemplation and reflection? Again, you just answered that question. And that is included in all the 40 steps. So we are trying to extract the masses, and then it becomes easy for us to follow each step clearly. Why? Why the mind is saying like this? Why the master is saying repeat, listening? But mind says, no, I have already understood. Why to repeat it? Tell the mind that you are not repeating for the sake of understanding because you have already understood. You are repeating for the sake of to change the mind. So what is going to happen? You have repeated one principle 100 times. So the mind has repeated craving for the pasta another 100 times. So at least now you are equal. The mind will create a value for these principles. It will leave the value for craving for the pasta. And that is where the change comes. Very subtle. So now with that change comes, it means any thought, any feeling, any emotion in the mind, yes. That is why 2 weeks ago we did the practice of meditation, this practice. That is the knowledge. Any thought comes. Instantly you recognize, you see it clearly, naked. This thought, object, knowledge of an object, I thought plus. Which one? The fourth one is clear. Consciousness is the real, the rest are the details, and that is causing the craving. If I drop this, what remains is the consciousness. What remains? Now the I thought is not going after any object. So the wandering mind is not there. So will the thoughts come to an end? No. The I-ness which is attached to a thought will drop. Can't you see the infinite space in the presence of all the objects? Yes. Is the space infinite? Yes. How do you know that? With the presence of everything, with the solar system, galaxy, your home, your body, my body, monitor and everything. I still know space is infinite. So in the presence of that infinity, yes, the thoughts are coming, come and go. That is the meaning of being carefree. But what happens, our subtle ego creates a problem of being carefree also. So that holds. So now it has created a problem with the I thought, and the mind then holds it. When the mind holds it, then you lose awareness. Then mind is going into the vasanas and constantly thinking and wandering and get lost. It is not only that subtle understanding, but when we experience the stress in the profession, financial challenges, oh yes, you told me a couple of months ago, but now those challenges are gone. You see that? Uh, Dependent on relationship. I have not to see the fear. I have to, behind the fear, I have to see where I'm dependent. Dependent on the object, on the wealth, on the relationship, will create sub desires. Did I tell you, I think, about the desire and the sub desires? Mind is
Hey,
everything. What we
one,
think, we become. I think I discussed about this desire and sub. Any desire you have in the world outside will create 1 million sub desires. So if I become aware of it, I'm not I'm not upset. I got a home, very new home, and now there is a drainage problem, sub desire. Let me fix it. Finished. Don't pay too much of crave. Oh, why it happened? It's a new home. Nothing. Nothing. Every cell is replaced every hour of in this body. So everything is new. Why you have a problem? Why you have a sickness? You see that we put the logic in such a way to have a clear understanding. Why I have a gray beard? I should have been like 25 years of age. So you don't have an answer. You are crazy. You're thinking in a wrong direction. Because the body is also outside. You are not the body. So I have this understanding. But if I don't have this understanding, then the mind gradually, slowly, indirectly, unconsciously, habitually, impulsively start depending on the things and the people and the relationship and the objects, and then there is a problem. And all comes from the false I thought is dominant and it starts dictating. It it stops even if can see, but it doesn't want to see the other side of the life. When it doesn't want to see the other side of the life, then you have conflict, you have duality, you have division, you have superficial relationship. Craving, obsession is basically fundamentally a superficial relationship with people, objects in the world outside, with even the money. Don't I need the money? Yes, need based desire. I need the money. Buddha also needed the money. I have $1 billion in bank account. Does that $1 billion declares that I am rich? Or I have created a feeling of being rich. So that feeling of being rich is shattered if I start a project and I spend the whole money. That money is gone. Now I have a sense of anxiety. Return back. Bring that money back into the same account so that I feel rich. I feel rich here. Dollar has no problem. It exchanges the hands. Feeling exchanges the hands. Emotion exchanges the hands. You know how? We are just talking of old home, either new home, or I have to shatter, completely destroy the old home to start building the new home. That is one way to start the journey. And another way to start the journey, mind is everything. What you think, you become. So first know what are you thinking. And in out of that thought comes the result. You are into anxiety, you have fears, you have duality, you have conflict. You are living in ignorance. The master says move from the ignorance to the wisdom. Both both are aligned together in this way. Think, study. I have to analyze. I have to why I am giving this lesson, because your mind should straight away start thinking. Old home, new home, mind is everything. Let me know if the mind is everything, and if the mind is thinking, if the mind is acting, then I have to find out the areas where I get upset. I have fear, frustration, duality, and a conflict. Let me drop that from the mind. What is left is the purity of the mind. What is left? Now the mind is empty. Buddha says that emptiness is meditation. But emptiness does not mean that you don't have a thought. Why? If you don't have a thought, you cannot exist. Thought gives you this apparent existence with the body, mind, intellect. Yes, I have to. If no thought exists, then you cannot have a need based desire. You cannot survive. It happens to those extreme mentally sick person who stop even taking the food and they die. Extremely sick. But if they are mild sick, they say this house is not good. They create a split personality. They have hallucinations in the house. At the same time, when the hunger comes, they said, okay, I will sit in the same house, so let me take the food, and then I will go back to the hallucinations. So your mind is cheating you. We have the same. So mind is not becoming aware. Situation 1, I'm hungry. Situation 2, this house creates a lot of hallucination, or this person. When I meet this person, this fills me with anger and rage. Choose one. Both the things are at the same time. You are extremely hungry and you have hallucinative experiences with someone. It is extreme, you forget the food. It is mild, that survival instinct makes you aware, oh, let me eat the food first. I have a lot of complaint against you, but and you are eating. I have a lot of complaint against you. You are making us crazy? You are crazy. That's a quite interesting phenomena that happens. Master says it is happening because of the ignorance. Simple. It is happening because of the ignorance. It is happening because of the delusion. Or you simply say, simply say, the Buddha says, world is suffering. That is another way to say it. You say old home and the new home. You say the delusion. You say the Maya. So that creates the life of materialism, pleasure seeking, habits, social media, addiction in the modern world. I constantly reinforce my ego. I distract myself because I enjoy the distraction. I have a craving which gives me the pains. Now I feel the pain, so I distract myself. And then I return back to have a craving. I go back. So contemplate and reflect in either way. What does my current home feels like? I have to go deeper. Is it sturdy and comfortable dwelling, or does it feel shaky and prone to lot of challenges? That simply means how many challenges I have in my life. Something is coming to my mind, it's very interesting from the Gita. I'll talk about it, but before I say, so a daily observation will help me to understand I'm living, how I am living in an old home, what are the causes, anxiety, duality, conflict, delusion, etc., etc. What the Gita says, Gita has a totally different way of looking at the things. So the first, it goes to prarabdha. Prarabdha, vasana, past impressions. That is a simple way to say. That this mind has a deposits and accumulated the past impressions. We can compare it with the reincarnate Shiva and the Krishna. They don't have any past impression. They don't create any impression. So even the Krishna says, you see that I have nothing to achieve in the world and still I am engaged in all kinds of activities. I'm guiding you, I'm coaching you, I'm fighting the war there. I have nothing to achieve. Comparison again. So what we come to a conclusion, very, very interested, very deep. If I'm not awakened since my birth, I will continue to have one or the more than one problem. Otherwise, the mind cannot think. Mind will stop thinking. I may have a problem of finances. Okay, I have all the money into my account. Then I may have a problem with the body. One or the other problem is always there that triggers me to choose old home and to switch on to the new home. That trigger mechanism is always there with every human being until you are awakened. When you are awakened, you have no problem. Gita, very interesting. So my mind was thinking, if I had a chance to have a lot of money, then I will. And then I asked my mind, what will you do? You are increasing your knowledge by teaching and coaching others. Why don't you do it? Where is the problem? And the mind dropped that idea. Mind dropped that idea. You see that many people everywhere now in the world thinks, until 40 or 50, those who are young, Gen G generation, the generation who is 80% hooked to the social media and the virtual world. So they are thinking until the age of 40, maximum 45, I'll have 2 or 3 or $10 million and then I will live in freedom. No, you will live in bondage then. You will have another problem. Because you are not awakened. We don't recognize it. If I get married, I will be happy. No, there will be one desire is fulfilled, there will be sub-desires. And in that sub-desire, there is always some challenge. Oh, she is not the way I thought of it. So you are obsessed with that idea, then you will divorce and you will get married to second one. Then you will have a problem. Oh, now I get $1 million. No, I already got a house, but now I need another $1 million. Okay, I got a home. Oh, it's very so, but I need to maintain. So again, I have to continue working. So now go back to the same principle of the Buddha. What I think, I become. Mind is everything. Means what? I have to explore, understand, and examine my belief system, my value system, my experiences on which the current home is built. That is what this 40 steps does. So when I create a prompt, in AI we create a prompt. So you create a prompt in your head. What is my belief system? What are my values? What are my values? The desire, the thoughts or the desires that I fulfill, and the incomplete desires that I need to fulfill. So, incomplete desire I cannot fulfill instantly today in 1 hour. Why? Because there are some problems, and because of those problems, there are some anxieties, fear, and frustration. I have to find out. I have to find out. I have to find out. Whether you say problem, in corporate sector here, people say there are pain points. Who does not have a pain point? Come on. Who does not have a pain point? What you are talking about? Your belief system says I'm smarter than you. You have a problem. You see that? When women were saying that you have such a beautiful beard, I said you don't have a luxury to have beard. So then you have a problem. Will you be? Could you be happy if you have long beard? Can we do something like this? Our old home creates those thought patterns. So my belief system, my value system, my experiences, my habits, my impulses, I have to I have to work on it. If I don't work, then these 40 steps will not work. What would be an ideal new home? Think what you're talking about. Yes, I'm talking about your new ideal home. We already know that we already know that we are the real self. We have not to create it. And we already know when I realize the real self, all the problems goes away. Why the problem goes away? Because it is caused by the ignorance. I am in wisdom. Then what should I do? I will continue to do what I am doing. I will raise my skill. I will solve the problems without getting into fear, failure, and frustration. Is that a state of realization? That is only one part. But if I start living into that state, will my real self be exhausted? No, it cannot be exhausted. I have to make this mind believe by repetition, by repeat listening and contemplation and reflection. The mind, intellect understands, but the mind is going back to the past impression. First step, study Eastern wisdom to study yourself. I changed the expression. That in Sadhana Panchakam it is study Eastern wisdom. So I qualified it. Study Eastern wisdom to study yourself. Every principle of the Eastern wisdom helps you to understand who you are, where you are, how you are, what causes you the problem, what causes you the pain, what you should have done, what you should not have done. Just go on asking. New home. So the foundation is built The moment you start studying the Eastern wisdom, you have started destroying the old home. Don't worry about it. It is darkness to the light, ignorance to wisdom. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Do you see that? That is the message there. Oh, yes, now I'm getting it. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Ignorance to wisdom. You see the same thing that when the mind realizes I'm the real self means what? Infinite, eternal, all pervading. Where is the problem? The problem is in the business. Infinite, eternal. Problem is there, so let me solve it. Finished. Solve it without fear. Solve it without anxiety. Solve it without reaction. No, no, is it possible? But from where the reaction comes? Because I have a limited belief. Limited belief, from where it comes? Because of the delusion. From where the delusion comes? From the ignorance. Think, think, think. Oh, I have an extreme pain in my knee, for example. I am having a pain. Old home, you will get crazy. New home, I'm not the body. No, but it does not decrease my pain. But if you simply do it intellectually, it will not. If you do it intellectually, understanding with an awareness, it will decrease your pain. What do you mean by it? Modern psychology says that anywhere you have pain in the body, 90% comes from the mind and 10% from the body. So that 90% you get rid of it by anesthesia. You disconnect body from the mind. Why you can't disconnect? Let me focus. I gave you that example a couple of years back. Buddha used to say you have a pain in the knee. Find out the area. First find out the circumference on which your pain is, and move your mind consistently on that area where you are experiencing the pain. You will find that circumference is being reduced. You continue until you find a spot where from the pain has started. You continue to live into that state of awareness. You will realize that you have a pain only in the point from where actually the pain starts. You know, say for example, the 50 cells do not say now I will have a pain, only one cell. Problem is there in the one cell. So we have a, what we say in cancer, we say we have some misaligned, there is a specific word for the cancer cells. So they are also the cells, and healthy cells are also the cells. They both are present in the body. That's why I'm alive. But the mind is obsessed with those cancer cells, and that's why then it goes with the fear and anxiety and reaction, frustration, depression, and long list. So I got a metaphor in that way. You see that I intellectually understand that you are right that I'm not the body, and that remains at the intellectual level. So I may repeat these principles unconsciously and habitually and impulsively, and still I cannot get rid of the pain because it has not traveled to the mind. Why it has not traveled to the mind? Because I am not consciously dealing, I am not observing, I am not experiencing. That is the meaning. What is the meaning? Then what happens? Why people say that I have practiced for 20 years and there is no change? Ice cube is only a water. Basically, it is a water. Now I throw that ice cube in the Arctic Ocean. That small ice cube becomes the whole glacier. I am pain. I am suffering. I brand myself that I am suffering, I am pain, I am fear, I am stress. No, I don't have stress, but I am stress. And the same ice cube you throw into Atlantic Ocean, it starts melting away. That is the journey. It starts melting away. So your old home, your old belief system starts melting away. So we have to be very careful to check. We have to check every day whether I'm melting. I have thrown that ice cube with lot of belief system into an Atlantic Ocean, into the principles of Eastern wisdom, or into the same old principles of an Arctic Ocean where that ice cube becomes the full glacier. Then every cell is suffering, every situation has a problem. That is why we change the topic, realizing inner potential. Mind is everything. Whatever the mind thinks, I become. Okay. Inner potentials. So inner potential is separate from these impressions. They belong to the old home. They are from ignorance. So I have to get rid of it before I can awaken to my inner potential and realize it. Have I not experienced the moment of peace and calm, which is independent of anything and everything outside? Yes, we have experienced many a times. We have to extend that period. Who prevents to extend that period? My ignorance, my mind. My mind goes back. Why you have come to disturb me? I was in. No, you maintain that state. Nobody is saying you anything. Nobody is slapping you. They keep at a distance. But my impressions triggers me. You see that my impression triggers. Nothing happened. Old home. Look at it. We have to look from that perspective of old home, new home, or you can say the world is suffering, or mind is everything. Mind is everything. What I think I become, how to get rid of it. That is the journey of Eastern wisdom. Whether it's a matter of fears and anxieties or reaction or duality or a conflict, same thing. Another question also comes, why people hesitate to follow this path. First, they are limiting belief. Second is that their mind is fed with lot of information from outside that I will lose my home, I have to go to the Himalayas, I have to become a monk, then only I can realize and awaken. It's a wrong perception. Shankaracharya, Buddha, our great Ramakrishna Paramahansa, Vivekananda, all great masters says living a family and a social and a professional life is a great opportunity to realize. One guy was telling me that, I will contact you once I return from a retreat in Moscow You see that, and then he started talking of our President Trump that, I have to safeguard my passport, my social security, because when I return from there, I the law enforcement will check, and if there is any problem, they won't allow me. So I cracked a joke. If you miss that, say you have lost that passport, then what will happen? Oh, then there will be a lot of problems. So why you are planning to go there? Why don't you have a retreat here in US only? Oh, that's a good point. I said there is another good point from me. What is that? So I said, what you are? Will you be in contact with your family when you are going for a retreat? Yes, I said. Then retreat is waste.
Yeah.
You Why don't you keep your cell phone and everything, or you put it in a silent mode and you don't open it? No, no, I have taken a what is that? They have taken some. There is some USB uh, on the go internet connection. Something is there. There is a small piece. I said, okay, go. I know you are not going to contact me. Old home. I want to stick to the old home. I don't want to go. Whether you say what I think, I become. So retreat will not bring any result because my mind, pattern of the mind, habit of the mind, responses will remain the same. Will remain the same. Think of it, contemplate, and then we